The rain hammered against the windshield as I slowed my car near the gates of my estate. Lightning flashed, and in the burst of light, I saw Herthan, drenched, clutching a crying baby to her chest. She looked like a shadow about to collapse. I rolled down the window. "Hey, what are you doing out here in the storm?" My voice sounded harsher than I meant. She flinched, shielding the baby tighter. I didn't mean to be seen. I'll go." Her words cracked like her trembling body. Go in this weather. With a baby. I pulled the car closer, the headlights flooding her face. Water dripped from her hair, her lips pale. "You'll both freeze out here." Her eyes darted to the ground. "We'll manage." "Manage?" I opened the door, stepping into the rain. "Look at you. You're shaking." The baby whimpered louder, a tiny, desperate sound that pierced my chest. I lowered my voice. "Your name?" She hesitated, as if the truth might cost her something. Finally, she whispered, "Maya." "Maya," I repeated, then glanced at the bundle in her arms. "And the baby, Lila. Why?" She adjusted the cloth around the child. "Only 6 months?" I ran a hand through my soaked hair. "Maya, I can't just leave you here. Come inside, I'll give you shelter." Her eyes widened. "No, can't. I don't want trouble." "You think standing in the rain with a baby is less trouble?" I gestured toward the gates. "My house is right there. Warmth, food, safety." Shook her head, backing a step. "Strangers don't offer that. Not without wanting something." That stung. I let out a humorless laugh. "Then call me reckless, because I don't want anything. Just stop being stubborn." She bit her lip. Clearly torn, the rain poured harder, soaking us both. I reached into my pocket, pulled out my key ring, and held it out. "Here, take it." Her eyes flickered in disbelief. "You'd give me your keys?" "Yes." Walk to the front door. "Henry My Butler, we'll see you inside." My tone sharpened. "Don't argue. You'll kill that baby if you keep standing." "Here." Maya looked at Lila, whose cries were now faint whimpers. She finally reached out, her cold fingers brushing mine as she took the keys. "I don't understand why you're doing this." "Neither do I admitted. "But go, before I regret it." She stared at me for another moment, then clutched the keys and hurried toward the gate. I followed slowly, keeping my distance. My chest felt heavy, as if I had just stepped off a cliff with no ground beneath, inside the foyer. Henry appeared, eyes widening at the sight of Maya dripping water on the marble floor. "Sir, what is this?" "Don't start," I warned, stripping off my soaked coat. "Get towels, food, something warm for the baby." Henry frowned. "We don't take in strays now," I snapped, my tone cutting. Maya shrank at the sharpness of my voice. "I shouldn't stay. I'll leave after the baby rests." "You'll stay tonight," I said firmly. End of discussion. Henry muttered under his breath but disappeared toward the kitchen. I turned to Maya, who stood clutching Lila as if I might take the child away. "You're safe here. No one's going to hurt you." Her lips trembled. "Why me?" I paused, struggling. "To find the answer, because you looked like you'd already lost too much. And I know what that feels like." For a moment, silence filled the hall, broken only by Lila's soft whimper. Maya whispered, "Thank you." She sank onto a bench, tears mingling with rain on her cheeks. No one's ever cared like this. I swallowed hard, my throat tight. I wanted to tell her not to thank me, that kindness had cost me before. Instead, I only said, "Rest. Tomorrow we'll talk." "That?" Henry returned with towels and soup. I handed one towel to Maya. Our fingers brushed against cold against warm. She lowered her gaze, murmuring something I couldn't catch. "What was that?" I asked. She shook her head quickly. "Nothing, just thank you again." I studied her, but said nothing more. I had already done something reckless given my keys, my home, maybe a piece of myself to a stranger. As I walked upstairs, her voice drifted softly. "Lila, we're safe now. Maybe." I stopped halfway up the steps. That single word may be echoed. In my mind, safe. Or maybe not. I didn't know if I had just saved 2 lives, or invited a storm into my own. Henry's disapproving glare followed us into the sitting room. I gestured toward the couch. Sit, Maya. You and the baby need to rest. She hesitated before lowering herself, clutching Lila tightly. The baby whimpered, then quieted against her chest. Henry crossed his arms. Sir, this isn't wise. Know nothing about her. I shot him a look. She's soaked, starving, and carrying a child. That's enough to know. Maya's lips parted. If it's too much, we'll leave. No, I said firmly. You'll stay, Henry muttered. At least let me fetch blankets before she drips all over the furniture. He left with a stiff bow. Maya's eyes darted after him. He doesn't like me. Henry doesn't like anyone, I admitted, managing a small smile. He's loyal, but blunt. Don't take it personally. She lowered her gaze. I'm used to it. The silence pressed down. I rose, walked to the kitchen, and returned with bread, cheese, and hot soup. I set the tray in front of her. Eat. Her eyes widened. For me, yes. For you. She reached for the spoon with trembling hands. Lila whimpered again, and she rocked her gently while taking quick, desperate bites. She ate as though she hadn't seen food in days. Watching her stirred something raw in me. I sat across from her. When did you last have a real meal? Her spoon froze midair. I don't remember. I leaned forward.
How long?
You been out there? Maya's eyes flickered to mine, then away. A while. That's not an answer. She placed the spoon down, voice tight. I don't owe you my story. No, you don't, I admitted. But if you're under my roof, I'd like to know who I'm protecting. Her shoulders slumped. Protecting or guarding? Before I could reply, Henry returned with blankets. He draped one over the couch, another over Maya's shoulders, though his face betrayed his reluctance. There, try not to drip everywhere, he muttered. Henry, I said sharply. He sighed. Very well, I'll prepare a guest room. But don't blame me when this ends poorly, Maya whispered. I can sleep here. The couch is fine. No, I said. You'll take a room. Her wide eyes met mine, suspicious, searching. Why are you doing this? The question hit deeper than I expected. I paused, then answered softly. Because no one did it for me when I needed it. Her face softened for a moment, but the guarded look quickly returned. She tucked the blanket around Leela, who had finally drifted to sleep. Henry left again, shaking his head. The silence stretched between us. You don't trust me, I said quietly. Maya's lips curved in a faint, bitter smile. Should I? A stranger gives me keys to his mansion, feeds me, offers a room. People don't do that without a reason. I told you, I don't want anything. Her eyes searched mine. No one is that selfless. I leaned back, exhaling. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I just don't want to live in an empty house anymore. That silenced her. For a long moment, she stared at the fire crackling in the hearth. Finally, she whispered, Thank you. No one has ever cared like this. Something twisted in my chest. Get used to it. You're safe here. Her hands smoothed Lila's hair, but I caught the flicker in her eyes, gratitude tangled with fear. Henry returned. Good old, the room is ready. Maya rose carefully, adjusting Leela. She gave me a small nod. Good night. Though unease prickled under my skin, when they disappeared upstairs, I walked to my study. I lingered in the doorway, then slipped inside. Shelves of books, the locked drawer with documents, the safe in the corner. I scanned them all. My fingers hovered on the key to the study door. A voice inside me whispered, She's just a desperate mother. Don't be paranoid. But another voice pushed back, darker. You don't know her. You saw the way she avoided your questions. She's hiding something. I locked the study and pocketed the key. As I turned off the lights, I caught my reflection in the glass. My face looked older, harder. I whispered to myself, what have I just let in? The house, once silent, now carried faint echoes of a child's soft cries upstairs. Should have felt warm. Instead, it felt like the beginning of something I couldn't yet name. The days blurred into one another, softened by the sound of Lila's laughter. Her tiny giggles echoed through rooms that had once been graveyards of silence. I caught myself smiling more often than I admitted. Henry noticed too. "You're letting your guard down, sir," he muttered, while polishing silver. "She's a mother with a child," I replied, not a threat. He raised an eyebrow. "People wear masks. Some fit better than others." I shook my head. "Henry, not everyone is out to deceive." He didn't argue further, but the doubt lingered in his eyes. That afternoon I brought Dr. Patel over. Maya was pale, thinner than she should be. When I suggested a checkup, she resisted. "I'm fine," she insisted, hugging Lila tighter. "Doctor," Patel gave her a kind smile. "Please, just let me make sure you're healthy. Stress takes a toll." Her lips trembled. "Stress doesn't kill. Hunger does." Patel frowned, then gently examined her. "You've been malnourished for months," he said softly. "Your body's exhausted. You need care, Maya, not just scraps of survival." Her eyes glistened, but she turned away. "Care isn't free." "Nothing is." I spoke quietly. "Here it is." She looked at me then, something unreadable flickering in her gaze, gratitude. Fear, or maybe suspicion. Later, while Leela napped, Maya sat with me in the drawing room. She stared into the fire, voice low. "He left us. My husband. One morning, he just didn't come back." I studied her profile. "What was his name?" Her pause was brief, too brief, Daniel. I nodded slowly. "And you had no family?" Her jaw tightened, none worth mentioning. The next day, when I gently asked again, she said David. His name was David. I froze. "Yesterday you said Daniel." Her face paled. "Did I? I must have misspoken." I don't like saying his name. I wanted to believe her. But Henry cornered me in the hall later. "She's lying. She's traumatized," I snapped. "She's spinning tales," he shot back. "Be careful, sir." I turned away, unwilling to face his certainty. That night, I wandered the halls restlessly. Something compelled me toward the library. The door was ajar, light spilling through. I pushed it open quietly. Maya stood at the desk, rifling through papers. My papers. Her head jerked up when she saw me. She froze, hand still on a drawer. I stepped forward slowly. "What are you doing?" Her voice faltered. I was looking for a storybook for Lila." Ice. My eyes dropped to the documents scattered before her. "Financial ledgers. Not storybooks." I raised a brow. "In the bottom drawer of my desk," she flushed, gathering papers hastily. I didn't know what was in there. I thought you thought what?" Her silence stretched, her excuses crumbling in the air. "Between us, finally," she whispered. I just wanted something to read to her. I studied her. Desperation in her tone almost convinced me. "Almost, Maya," I said slowly. "If you need something, you ask. You don't go searching through locked drawers." Her eyes flicked to mine. "Locked drawers hide secrets. Doesn't everyone have them?" Something in her words unsettled me. "What are you looking for?" She shook her head, hugging herself. "Nothing. Forget it, please." I let the silence hang until she slipped past me, clutching Lila's blanket, as if it were a shield. When she was gone, I closed the drawer firmly and locked it. My hand lingered on the key, heavy in my palm. Henry appeared in the doorway, arms crossed. "Still thinks she's harmless?" I glared at him. "Not now." "She's hiding something?" he pressed. "I know," I admitted. The words tasted bitter. "Then why keep her here?" I exhaled sharply, because I can't throw a woman and a child back into the rain. Whatever her secrets are, they don't change that. Henry studied me, disappointment etched deep in his face. "Your compassion will cost you." "Maybe," I muttered. "But it's a price I'm willing to pay." Still, when I climbed the stairs that night, every creak of the floorboards echoed louder. Every shadow stretched deeper. In my room, I lay awake, listening to faint sounds from the guest wing, the quiet footsteps, the rustle of blankets, the occasional whimper of a child. Part of me wanted to trust her. to believe her half-formed stories in trembling gratitude. But another part whispered, "She's not who she says she is." And in the silence of that long night, I realized both parts of me were right. Asterisk, I asked Henry to prepare dinner in the formal dining room, something I hadn't done in months. The long table, polished to a gleam, felt less like a place for meals and more like a stage. When Maya entered, she looked uneasy. "This seems too much," she whispered. "It's just dinner," I said, pulling out her chair. "Sit, eat, no pretenses." She lowered herself carefully. "Lila asleep upstairs. You don't have to do this." "I want to," I replied, "but I also want honesty." On a state data as dangerous. I leaned forward. So is silence. She picked at the bread Henry had placed before her, hands trembling slightly. "If I tell you, you might send me away." "Yes." "Then trust me not to," I said. Her fork clattered against the plate. She inhaled shakily. "I didn't end up at your gates by accident." My pulse quickened. "Go on." "There were people," she continued. "Men who wanted money my husband owed. They came after us. When he disappeared, the debts became mine. I ran. I've been running ever since." "Debts," I repeated slowly. Her voice cracked, and fists. Wasn't kind. "Not once the drinking started. I stayed too long. I thought he'd change." Sat back studying her. "You expect me to believe you had nowhere else to go?" Tears glistened in her eyes. "You think I wanted to beg outside your mansion? You know what it feels like too? Have strangers spit at you when you ask for food?" I felt something tug inside me, but I kept my tone firm. "Then why lie about his name?" She froze. "I didn't. You said Daniel." "Then David, which is it?" Her lips pressed thin. Maybe I wanted to forget him so badly that even his name twisted on my tongue. The words hung heavy between us. Part of me wanted to believe. Another part clenched with suspicion. Dinner went on in uneasy silence. Henry watched from the doorway, arms crossed, reading every twitch of my face. When Maya excused herself, I stayed. Behind, pushing food around my plate, something gnawed at me. Couldn't let it go. Later, when the house quieted, I went to her room. She wasn't there. Her bag sat half open near the chair. I hesitated, then pulled it closer. Inside were scraps of clothing, a bottle for Lila, and tucked deep in the lining, a photograph. My breath caught. It was Maya, younger, smiling. And beside her, his arm wrapped around her waist. Alava, my estranged, thieving, lying brother. I gripped the photograph so hard it nearly tore. Rage burned through me, a flame rekindled from old wounds. The door creaked.
Ow.
Maya stood there, her face paling as she saw the picture in my hand. I held it up. "Explain now." Her lips parted, but no sound came. I took a step forward, my voice like ice. "Why do you have a photograph with him?" "With Oliver." She swallowed hard, backing slightly. "Please, don't you dare beg now. Tell me the truth." Her chest heaved. I didn't mean for you to find that. Then why keep it?" I hissed. "Why hide it?" Her hands shook as she reached toward me. "It's not what you think."
Oh.
"It looks exactly like what?" "I think," I snapped. "You and Oliver, smiling together. Did he send you here? To spy? To dig into my life?" "No," she cried, tears spilling. "It wasn't like that. Please, listen." I stared at her, my heart pounding so loud I barely heard her words. Memories of Oliver surged back, his betrayal, his theft, the day he vanished from my life with money stolen from me, and now this woman, standing in my home, clutching her lies, holding proof of connection to him. My voice dropped, quiet but sharp. "Every moment with you, was it real? Were you just another one of his games?" Her shoulders sagged. "I never wanted to hurt you." "That isn't an answer." She wiped her face with trembling hands. If I tell you everything, you'll never look at me the same. Then you'd better decide, I said coldly. Lie again or speak the truth. But I won't tolerate both. Her gaze fell to the floor. Please, I can explain. The words came out barely louder than a breath, but they carved into me deeper than a shout. I stared at her, the photograph, burning between my fingers, and for the first time since she'd stepped into my life, I wasn't sure if she was a victim or a weapon aimed straight at me. The storm outside cracked against the windows, but nothing was louder than my own heartbeat. I gripped the photograph until my knuckles went white. Tell me, I demanded. Why is Oliver in this? Why are you in this? Maya's lips trembled. I didn't want you to know like this. You think I care how I know? My voice thundered. Just answer. Her eyes darted to the floor, her breath shallow. Oliver. He's Leela's father. The words sliced through me like glass. What did you just say? Her voice broke. The baby. She's his. She stumbled back, clutching the edge of the desk, as if the house itself had tilted. You mean my brother left you with a child? She nodded, tears spilling. He promised me everything. Safety, money, a future. But when I told him I was pregnant, he disappeared. Rage surged, hot and merciless. Of course he did. That's Oliver. He's always running, always stealing, and now this. I didn't know where else to go, she whispered. Never planned it. I held the photo between us like a weapon. You expect me to believe you ending up in front of my gates in the rain was an accident? Yes, she cried. It was fate. I had no idea this was your house. I was just desperate. Convenient, I muttered bitterly. Too convenient. Her hands shook as she reached for me. Please, don't see me as his mistake. Me, as myself. I recoiled. I see someone who lied to me every single day she's been here. Someone who let me hold his child, laugh with her, feed her, while keeping his shadow over it all. Her voice cracked into a sob. I was afraid. I thought if I told you, you'd throw me out before I could even explain. Henry's voice came from the doorway, sharp as steel. Throw her out anyway, sir. You should have the sense to see what she's doing. Maya flinched, turning toward him. I'm not using him. Henry stepped forward. My master takes you in, feeds you, gives you shelter, and all along you're tied to Oliver, the one who betrayed him most. And you hide it? That's not desperation. That's manipulation. I raised a hand, silencing him, though his words echoed the storm in my head. My chest ached with every breath. Maya, look at me. She lifted her wet eyes. Did Oliver send you here? Did he know you would find me? Her head shook violently. No, I haven't seen him since the day he left me. I swear on my life. Swear on your child's life, Henry snapped. She gasped. I would never then prove it, Henry hissed. I slammed my hand on the desk, the sound cracking like thunder. Enough. Both of you. The room fell silent, except for the rain slamming the windows. I turned back to her. Why keep the photograph if he abandoned you? Why carry his ghost everywhere? She pressed a hand to her chest, sobbing. Because once, before everything shattered, I loved him. And I wanted Lila to know her father's face, even if he never came back. I couldn't erase him from her life. Her words pierced something in me, but I fought it. Me, what am I in this? A replacement? A fool to shelter the woman my brother discarded? You're not a fool, she whispered. You're the only person who's shown me kindness in years. I didn't choose you because of Oliver. I stayed. Because of you. My throat burned with conflicting heat, anger, sorrow, longing. You expect me to believe fate led you to my gates? That you didn't even know who I was? She fell to her knees, voice breaking. I swear, if I'd known, I would have run. The other way. I never wanted to hurt you. Henry stepped closer, his glare fixed on me. Sir, you can't let her stay. This is poison. Oliver's poison, in your house again. Cut it out before it spreads. But then I heard the faint cry of Leela from upstairs. The fragile, innocent sound pierced through the storm of my fury. Closed my eyes, the image of her small hands clutching mine flashing across my mind. That child had done nothing wrong. When I opened my eyes again, Maya was still kneeling, trembling, desperate. "Please," she whispered, "don't send us away. We have nowhere else." Henry's voice was sharp. "She's lying, you know." "She is." I stared at her, my voice hoarse. "I don't know anything anymore." The storm roared louder, rattling the house as if demanding I make a choice. "Maya," said finally, "you've broken every shred of trust I had. You've made me question everything I believed, and yet—" My voice faltered as Lila's cry echoed again. "When I look at her, I can't throw you out. Not yet." Maya sobbed, covering her face. "Thank you. I swear I'll tell you everything now." "More lies," Henry muttered under his breath. "You'll regret this." Maybe he was right. Maybe keeping her here was the greatest mistake of my life. But as I stood there, staring at the photograph still burning in my hand, I knew one thing for certain. The truth wasn't finished with us, not by far. Asterisk, the rain hadn't stopped when I found him. Oliver leaned against the doorway of a dim tavern, cigarette smoke curling in the air. His smirk widened as soon as he saw me. Well, he drawled. The great Henry's master finally decided to crawl out of his gilded cage. I stepped closer, fists clenched. "You left her. You left Maya with a child." He flicked ash carelessly. "So she told you. Did she also tell you she came to me for money in the first place? That she used me the same way she's using you? Said you promised her protection?" He laughed, bitter and hollow. "Protection? Promised her nothing but a good time. She saw the family name, thought it meant security. When I couldn't deliver, she vanished. Don't act like she's some saint. She's clever, I'll give her that." "You abandoned her when she was pregnant," I shot back. He raised his brows mockingly. "And you picked up where I left off."
How noble.
"Tell me, brother, how does it feel to play father to my mistake?" Rage boiled in me. "She's not a mistake. Neither is that child." Oliver's smirk faltered for a heartbeat, guilt flickering in his eyes. But then he straightened, voice sharper. "You're blind. She played you, just like she played me. Don't come crying when she bleeds you dry." Before I could answer, a voice cut in. "It's not the truth, Oliver." We turned. A woman stepped from the shadows, tall, dark coat, sharp gaze. She looked straight at him with quiet disdain. "Sophia," he muttered, jaw tightening. I eyed her warily. "Who are you?" "Someone who's seen too much of his games," she said, crossing her arms. "I worked with him. I know what he did." To Maya, Oliver sneered. "Stay out of this." She ignored him and looked at me. Maya didn't use him. She loved him. Promised her a future. He lied. She got pregnant. He panicked. He left her with nothing but debt and shame. My pulse thudded in my ears. "You're certain?" Her voice was firm. "I was there. I heard the fights. I saw the day he walked out. Don't let him twist this." Oliver grabbed her arm, furious. "Shut up, Sophia." She pulled free, eyes blazing. "No, you've ruined enough lives." I stared at him, my brother, who had stolen from me years ago and now had left behind a woman and child. "You could have told me the truth yourself. Instead, you smear her name." He snapped back, voice cracking with venom. "The truth. Truth is, I never wanted her. I never wanted that child. And I never wanted you standing here, pretending you're better than me." "Better?" My voice shook with fury. "You left a woman in the streets with your baby. If that's what you call living, then yes, I am better than you." His face darkened, but guilt still lingered in his eyes like a stain he couldn't scrub away. He turned to Sophia, voice sharp. "Why are you even here?" She answered coldly. "Because someone has to clean up after you." I exhaled hard, turning my back on him. My chest felt like fire. As I stepped away, Oliver called out, "Don't say I didn't warn you. She'll betray you too. Just wait." His words lodged like thorns, painful, impossible to ignore. When I returned home, Maya was waiting in the hall, Lila asleep in her arms. Her face lit with relief, then quickly dimmed at my expression. "You found him," she whispered. "Yes," I said flatly. "What did he say?" I hesitated, the storm still raging in me. "He called you a liar, said you used him. That you're using me now?" Her eyes filled with tears. "And you believe him?" "I don't know what to believe," I admitted, voice raw. "You lied to me too. You hid everything until it exploded." Her arms tightened around Lila. "I lied because I was terrified. He abandoned me cruelly. I had no money, no roof, no one. You think I wanted to walk into your house with secrets? I didn't, but I had no choice. And the photograph? Oppressed. Why keep him close if he destroyed you?" She swallowed hard. "Because she deserves to know her father's face, even if he was a coward." Silent, stretched, broken. Only by Lila's soft breaths. "Finally," I said, "Sophia was there. She told me he left you, not the other way around." Maya's tears spilled freely. "Then you know the truth." I studied her face, every flicker of pain and sincerity, yet Oliver's voice still hissed in my skull. "She'll betray you too, Henry." Entered quietly, his eyes scanning me. "Well," he asked, "did you get your answers?" Stared at Maya, at the child who stirred gently in her arms. My voice came low. "I got more ghosts than answers." Maya whispered, "Please don't let his lies destroy what little we've built." Her plea cut deep. I wanted to believe her. God, I wanted to. But as the thunder rumbled outside, I couldn't shake the feeling that the storm had only just begun. Sophia's words still echoed in my head when she returned the next day. We sat in the study, the fire barely warming the chill between us. "She deserves the truth," Sophia said firmly. "Oliver took the money meant for her medical care. He gambled it away." I clenched my jaw. "So she wasn't lying?" "No," she said, her gaze steady. "She was broken by him long before you stepped in." Maya appeared at the doorway, holding Lila. "What are you saying?" Sophia met her eyes. "That Oliver robbed you of more than love. He stole your survival." Maya's lips trembled. I knew it. "I begged him to help when I was sick, and he said he had nothing. All that time, he had my hope in his pocket." I felt the floor tilt beneath me. "So he condemned you?" She whispered, "Yes." For a moment, I believed her completely. Her pain was too raw to be faked. But later that night, as I walked the halls, I found the study door ajar. Inside, papers were scattered across my desk. I froze, Maya's handwriting. My signature. Documents, applications for financial aid, claims tied to my estate. Forgeries. Every one of them. My stomach twisted. Rage surged through me. I stormed into her room, Maya. She startled, clutching Lila close. "Is it?" I slammed the papers onto the bed. "Explain this." Her eyes widened. I can forge documents. My name, my estate." You were preparing to bleed me dry. Tears welled instantly. "No, please, it's not what you think," I barked. "Then tell me exactly what it is." She sobbed, trembling. I was desperate. I had nothing left. God, I couldn't buy food, medicine, diapers, nothing. I thought if I secured some support, at least Lila wouldn't starve. I stared at her, my fury battling the ache in my chest. "So you lied again." Her voice broke. "I never wanted to deceive you, but I couldn't watch her cry from hunger. I couldn't. You could have come to me," I shouted. "You could have asked, and I would have helped you. But instead, you forged my name like a thief in the night." Her shoulders shook, because I was terrified you'd turn me away if you knew how weak I really was. "I've lost everything, my husband, my dignity, my trust in people. If I just secured something permanent, at least she would be safe." The silence afterward was unbearable. My chest burned, fury and pity tearing me apart. Finally, I whispered, "You broke whatever trust I had left." Her sobs turned into a desperate plea. "Don't throw me out. Please, don't make my daughter pay for my mistakes." I pressed my fists to my temples, my mind a storm. "Maya, you've been betrayed by Oliver, yes, but now you've betrayed me. How am I supposed to save you from yourself?" Her voice cracked. You don't understand. I didn't do it for me. I did it for her. I looked at Leela, her innocent face resting against her mother's chest. The baby stirred, cooing softly, unaware of the sins swirling around her. I understand more than you think, I said slowly. But understanding doesn't erase betrayal. She whispered, I'm sorry. I'll burn those papers. I'll never touch them again. It's not about the papers anymore, I murmured, my voice hollow. It's about trust. Trust. Maya, once broken, doesn't heal so easily. Her tears glistened in the candlelight. So what happens now? Turned toward the door, my heart splintering with every word. What happens now? Nothing I can give will fix what you've done. I can feed you, shelter you, but I can't save you. Only karma can. Her voice wavered behind me. Please, don't stop believing. In me? I didn't answer. My footsteps echoed down the hall, each one heavier than the last. The courtroom buzzed with whispers as Sophia stood tall, her voice sharp as steel. Your Honor, she declared, holding the documents aloft. This man forged signatures, stole funds, and left others ruined. Here is the proof. Oliver shifted beside his lawyer, sweat shining on his forehead. Lies, barked, though his voice cracked. I sat in the back, arms folded, heart heavy. The judge peered down. These records are damning. Mr. Oliver, do you have a defense? Oliver glanced wildly around the room until his eyes landed on me. Brother, tell them. You know I'm not this man she paints me to be. I rose slowly. I know exactly who you are, he paled. Please, don't let them bury me. Sophia's eyes flicked toward me. Will you speak for him? I shook my head. No, the gavel struck, final and cold. Guilty, sentencing will follow. Oliver collapsed into his chair, face buried in his hands. The sound wasn't victory to Mitt, was hollow. Like glass shattering too late to matter, as the courtroom emptied, he rushed toward me, his chains clinking. You can still help, brother. You have money, influence, get me out of this. I stepped back. Help you? After everything? After Maya? After the lies? After stealing from those who trusted you? His voice grew frantic. I was desperate, just like her. Don't act like you don't understand. I understand too well, I said bitterly. But desperation doesn't excuse betrayal. His eyes filled with tears. Don't turn your back on me, I whispered. You turned your back first. Guards pulled him away, his cries echoing down the corridor until silence swallowed him. When I returned home, Maya was waiting in the parlor, Lila in her arms. Her face was pale, her eyes swollen from crying. I heard she murmured, Finished, isn't he? Yes, I said. Sophia exposed everything. He'll face prison. She tightened her hold on the baby. I thought I would feel relief. Instead, I feel broken. He was cruel, but he was still the man who once swore he'd protect me. Seeing him fall like this, it hurts. I studied her, trembling hands. You loved him still? She shook her head quickly. No, not after what he did. But part of me hoped he'd change, if not for me, then for her. She looked down at Lila, whose tiny fingers curled against her. Her tears spilled over, and I lied to you. I forged papers. I twisted truths. I wanted safety so badly. I betrayed the only man who showed me kindness. I don't deserve forgiveness. I exhaled sharply. At least you admit it now. Her voice broke. I only wanted her safe. Everything I did, every light, was because I couldn't bear the thought of her suffering the way I did. Please. Believe me, I sat opposite her, leaning forward. Maya, safety doesn't come from deception, doesn't come from forged papers or stolen names. Safety comes from truth. And truth is what you kept from me. She sobbed, shoulders shaking. Then I've ruined everything. I rubbed my temples, the weight of it all pressing down. You've ruined trust, and without trust, what do we have? For a long moment, only Leela's soft coos filled the silence. Finally, Maya whispered, So what happens now? I looked at her, and though my heart ached, I forced myself to speak the words, You leave, I can't give you my trust. Not anymore. Her face crumpled. You're sending us away? I'll give you enough money for a fresh start, I said firmly. Food, shelter, a chance to rebuild, but not here, not with me. She clutched Lila tighter, rocking her as if shielding her from the sentence I'd just spoken. You were. My last hope? I was your second chance, I corrected. You squandered it. Her sobs filled the room, cutting deeper than Oliver's pleas ever had. I stood, pushing a small envelope across the table. Inside is enough to get you on your feet. Use it wisely. Don't let her grow up in the shadow of your lies. Reached out with trembling fingers. Thank you, she whispered. Even if you hate me, thank you. I turned toward the window, unable to look at her. I don't hate you. I pity you. And I pity him. Pity won't bind broken glass. The room was silent except for her crying. When the door closed behind her, the house felt emptier than ever, though laughter and lies had once filled it. I leaned against the window frame, staring into the dark, and whispered to myself, trust is gone. All that remains is truth. The rain tapped against the window as I set my cup of tea down, the porcelain clinking softly against the saucer. The house was quiet again. Too quiet. Henry stopped by sometimes, mostly to check if I was still breathing under all this silence. That evening, he sat across from me, his coat dripping by the door. You looked thinner, he remarked, squinting at me. Still haunted? I smirked faintly. Haunted is a generous word. Scarred feels closer. He leaned forward. Ow. Ever think about her? I hesitated. Every day. Even after the lies, he asked. Especially after the lies, I admitted. It's easy to forget kindness, harder to forget betrayal. Henry exhaled, shaking his head. She almost took you for everything. You should be glad she's gone. I stared into my tea. Glad? No. Relieved? Maybe. But sometimes I wonder if she was more victim than villain. Oliver stole from her, left her stranded. Expiration makes monsters of us all. He frowned. So you pity her? I pity the child most, I said softly. Lila never chose any of this. The room fell into silence again, the fire crackling. Henry finally broke it, and Oliver. Any pity left for him? I scoffed. Oliver drowned himself in greed. His downfall was his own hand pulling him under. No pity left for a man who begged. With lies in his mouth, Henry's gaze softened. You're not the same man I met years ago. You sound sharper, harder. Scar tissue always feels harder, I replied, but inside it still hurts. He nodded, rising slowly. Don't lock yourself in this tomb forever. Silence can be louder than voices. When he left, I walked to the porch. The rain poured steady, the light above the door glowing just as it had that night. The memory hit me like a blade. Maya, I whispered to the rain, as if it could carry my voice to her. Why here? Why me? The echo in my mind answered with her tears, her desperate eyes, her trembling arms around her child. Lies tangled with truths, and I could never separate them fully. I sat on the step, letting the damp air seep into me. Oh. My voice broke the quiet again. You tried to take my home. My hand touched the railing where she once clung. But you gave me something bigger. The words tasted bitter and honest. Myself, I looked back at the mansion. Months of silence had stripped it bare of illusions. No more laughter, no more pleading voices, no more shadows hiding secrets, just me. The rain slowed, drumming softer. I stood and pressed a palm against the doorframe. For the first time, I didn't feel like I was guarding the house. It felt like I was guarding me. I whispered into the night, "This is no longer your story, Maya. It's mine." And as the light glowed against the rain, I walked. Back inside the house, quiet but no longer empty.